I grabbed Rita by the arm and brought her in front of me, kept staring at her angrily, and my anger did not subside at any moment, so I slapped her on the cheek. She started looking at me with wide open eyes on my slap. Tears were shining in her big eyes. I felt like strangling her right then. She had made my respect worthless. I screamed angrily and said, "Why don't you speak? Are you speechless? Why did you do all this?" But how could she speak? She had no tongue in her mouth. She ran to her room crying, and I sat on the sofa there holding my head. I had never thought that such a day could come in my life. I was sitting holding my head. I was so terrified. After that, I was not even able to raise my eyes in front of anyone. My unmarried daughter was going to become a mother, and this was a reason of shame for me. And yet I was alive. My anger did not reduce at any moment, so I went to her room. She was sitting on her bed and crying. I went and sat in front of her and looked at my dumb daughter sitting in front of me with angry eyes. "Hey dumb girl, tell me something, was this the reason I kept you in the house? Who did all this to you?" I held her face and turned her towards me, but she kept her head down and kept crying. I was afraid of my respect getting ruined. I had managed this respect with great difficulty. No one had the courage to look at me with raised eyes, but now it seemed that this respect would not last long with me. The daughter whom I had kept hidden in the house for fear of the world's talk, had become the reason for my defamation while living in the house. I was sitting and looking at my daughter when there was a knock on the door. At this time my other daughter Ria entered the house. I quickly hid the dumb girl inside the bed and said, "Dumb girl, don't get up until I say so." The dumb girl just shook her head and I got up and came out. My other daughter Ria was standing outside with her sister-in-law. I looked at Ria with full attention. Ria was also very beautiful like Rita, but she had no flaws. This was the reason that my mute daughter, whose name was Rita, was sitting at my doorstep even at the age of 25 due to her disability, where Ria got married at the age of 19. I welcomed both of them by hugging them. Then I asked Ria, "How did you come?" She pointed towards her sister-in-law and said, "Mom, you talked about the mute girl with my sister-in-law's brother-in-law, right? His mother-in-law has refused. She is saying that my son walks with a little limp. I cannot make him marry a mute girl." I was heartbroken. After some time, Ria's sister-in-law left and I stared at the door with my empty eyes. From where my hopes were shattered and I left. Ria's sister-in-law left, but I stopped Ria. Embracing her, I cried profusely. I said, "Ria, please bring a proposal of any married man with children or any lame person. Now I want to send her away as soon as possible." Ria started looking at me and asked, "What happened?" She too had some doubts, and then I told her everything. She too was stunned like me after hearing this. I told her to go and ask her, maybe she will tell you something. Ria went to Rita on my advice, but Rita did not tell her anything. Ria returned disappointed and said, "Keep an eye on the people coming and going in the house. You will find out who the culprit is yourself." But I did not have that much time. I wanted to get rid of this infamy as soon as possible. This infamy was going to be a black stain on the respect I had built all my life. My name is Selena. I belong to a good and respectable family. Papa was a government teacher, while Mom was a simple woman. We were only 2 siblings and our parents had raised us with very delicate tantrums. We were living a happy life. I was just 16 years old when one day my mother and father died in an accident. That day proved to be a doomsday for us. At that time my sister-in-law took care of us. My brother was 6 years older than me, so mother had fulfilled the duty of his marriage in her own life. Sister-in-law was very nice, just like a real sister. After my brother's marriage, father shifted them to the 3-room house next to ours. Both the houses were built the same. There was just a 6-foot wall in between. After my mother and father left, I also went with them and my mother and father's house was closed. Sister-in-law took great care of me like her younger sister. Sister-in-law did not have any children of her own, so she would soothe her eyes on seeing me. When I turned 18, sister-in-law started looking for a match for me. She used to say that it is better for daughters to settle down in their own house as soon as possible. But for this, it was also necessary to find a good match. During this time, one day some guests came to our house. They were very rich and influential. After they left, sister-in-law told me that they had come for your marriage. Sister-in-law happily agreed, thinking that my life would improve and I would be happy there, but I don't know why there was a strange restlessness in my heart. I was feeling something was bothering me. We were of good means, but still the relationship of such a rich family did not seem right to me. That is why I wanted to refuse sister-in-law, but she thought me naive and convinced my brother for my marriage. This way I got married to Ronnie. After marriage, I soon came to know what was the real purpose of such a big family coming to our house. Actually, my husband was a drug addict. His family members were tired of getting him treated. But he could not give up this habit of his. He used to be drunk all the time. When I came to know the truth, I returned to my brother's house and told him everything. My brother and sister-in-law supported me a lot. I divorced Ronnie. I could live with a poor man but never with a drug addict. 1 year after the divorce, my brother got me married again. This time Vicky became my life partner, who was one of my father's distant acquaintances. My mother-in-law may not have been good, but it is said that if the life partner is good, then a person can tolerate everything else. Vicky's love and attention made me forget all the sorrows. 1 year after marriage, my first daughter was born. I named her Rita with great love, but my mother-in-law wanted a son. That is why she turned up her nose at the birth of a daughter. However, she did not say anything in front of Vicky. And then when we came to know that Rita cannot speak, it was as if my mother-in-law got a chance to taunt me. First she gave birth to a daughter, and that to a dumb one. My mother-in-law used to taunt me every morning and evening. And Vicky used to try to reason with her, but he could not oppose her completely. After 4 years, my second daughter was born. It was God's grace that she had no shortcomings. I named her Rhea. Vicky died suddenly just 4 years after Rhea's birth. He slept perfectly fine that night, but in that very sleep he left for his last journey forever. I was left alone, and my mother-in-law made my life even more difficult. I tried a lot to stay there, but how long can a person endure? One day I took both my daughters and returned to my brother's house. My brother and sister-in-law welcomed me and my daughters with open arms. It was God's grace. There was no shortage of anything in brother's house. He used to run his own business, and by God's grace the business was doing well. They started bearing the expenses of me and my daughters. Sister-in-law did not have any children of her own, so she asked me to adopt Rhea. What objection could I have? There was only one house. I shifted to the portion of my parents' house. However, my brother bore all the expenses. My brother had made a door in the wall between us, so that we could easily go to each other's house. Sister-in-law accepted Rhea as her daughter, but Rhea had become wise now. She knew that I was her real mother. She started calling sister-in-law as mummy and brother as papa, but for me she always remained my daughter. Often I would sit with my brother and sister-in-law, or if I felt suffocated at home, I would go to the house of my childhood friend, who lived in the same locality. One day when I was sitting at my brother's house, sister-in-law told me to get Rita treated, maybe she will get well. I said, sister-in-law, she is like this since birth. How will she get well with treatment? Sister-in-law explained, what is the harm in trying? On sister-in-law insistence, I took her to the hospital. There, after the checkup, the doctor told me that the chances of Rita getting well are very less, but she can get well with an operation. But the operation that the doctor suggested was beyond our reach. We returned home quietly. Sister-in-law was very sad about Rita. She told me, Selena, I worry a lot about your Rita. The future will be very difficult for Rita. She is a girl. She will have to face many difficulties in society. I also got worried after listening to sister-in-law words. What she had said was absolutely true, but as soon as I came home, I removed all sister-in-law words from my mind. Seeing Rita in front of me made me even more angry. I felt saw her in front of me, I felt as if I was becoming weak. Sometimes I would take out all my anger on her. Why have you come in my life to give me lifelong trouble? That poor girl would go to her room shedding tears after listening to me. Rita had now become speechless and my worries were also increasing with her. When her marriageable age came, everyone would agree for a relationship after seeing her picture. Rita was so beautiful that whoever saw her would approach her to talk about marriage, but as soon as they came to know that Rita could not speak, they would refuse and leave. My problems were increasing. Where no proposal was coming for Rita, there was some proposal for Rita every other day. Now I started saying to Rita in anger that you should have been born in my house. Now how will I find a boy for you? Who will marry you? Rita would just bow her head after listening to me. Rita was not educated, because I had never enrolled her in school. I used to think, what will this dumb girl study? My brother and sister-in-law told me many times that, Selena, you are doing wrong. Education is her basic right, don't snatch it from her, but I myself started hating my own child. Whenever I saw Rita studying, I felt a desire in my heart. I wish Rita could also speak, but this desire could never be fulfilled. I felt very sad about this, and then I took out all my anger on Rita. As if it was her fault for being dumb. The poor girl would silently bear my scoldings and beatings. Slowly she distanced herself from me, and now she always remained scared. Earlier she would come to me and try to talk to me in gestures, but once or twice when I looked at her with hatred and downcast eyes when she gestured, she got completely scared. After that she stopped coming to me, and started staying alone in her room. I was also relieved that at least now I have got rid of her. One day I was sitting at sister-in-law house. When she asked, Selena, why don't you bring Rita along? I said in an evasive manner, sister-in-law, what should I bring her with me? When I come here, I talk to her. In such a situation, what will poor Rita do between us? Even I don't understand her gestures. And what will anyone understand? Sister-in-law told me, Selena, she is your daughter, she cannot speak but she can hear, don't leave her alone at home, she is a young girl, bring her along, otherwise if you go somewhere, leave her with us. These words of Bobby went out of my mind as soon as I reached home. That day, I was cooking food at home. Rita had learned cooking by watching YouTube and she cooked very well. There was magic in her hands. Not only cooking, but she did every household work very well. Whether it was washing utensils or cleaning, her skill was visible in every work. Sometimes I think that whichever house she goes to, she will make it a heaven, but when no proposal came for her, I felt very sad. Due to her being dumb, everyone refused to marry her. Whereas there was a line of hand, I was happy about Rita's marriage, but on the other hand, I was disappointed about Rita's future, and when a very good proposal came for Rita, I said yes to that proposal after a lot of thinking. I did not want to spend Rita's marriageable age because of Rita. Well, that day half the burden was lightened from my mind. Today was Rita's engagement. On the day of engagement I was getting ready, then Rita came to me with 2 suits and started asking me in gestures which suit should I wear, and at that time my anger burst out. I scolded her angrily and said, you are not going anywhere and there is no need to wear any suit or anything. Hearing my words, tears came in her eyes. She started saying in gestures that I have to go to my sister's wedding. After that, I got more angry, and in anger, I slapped her and pushed her and made her fall on the bed. I told you that you are not going anywhere, why don't you understand one thing? Go to your room and sleep, if I see you, no one will be worse than me. She went to her room crying. For a moment, seeing her weeping eyes, my heart melted a little, but then I controlled myself and shook my head. I picked up the fallen suit in anger and threw it on the sofa. Meanwhile, sister-in-law came and said, Selena, how long will you take? The guests have arrived. When are you coming? I said, sister-in-law, I am completely ready, I was just coming. Sister-in-law asked, where is Rita? Will she not come? I lied and said, no sister-in-law, she is not well, I have given her a massage. Maybe she has slept. Anyway, I do not want to take her out. Her heart will be hurt after seeing all this. Sister-in-law expressed her desire to see Rita, but I said, Sister-in-law, it is getting late, come and see later, she must be sleeping right now. Saying this, I went to her house with sister-in-law. The evening passed with great pomp. Ria's engagement took place in a very happy atmosphere. When I came back home after finishing all the work and went to Rita's room, she was sitting on the bed with her head on her knees. Her body was shaking slightly. From this I understood that she was crying. Seeing her cry, my anger flared up again. I said in a tearful voice, sit here and keep crying. Ria's engagement happened with such pomp and show, and her marriage is also after 2 months. She is 4 years younger than you and is now settling down, but you. It is written in your fate to trouble me. I kept scolding her as if it was her fault for being dumb. At that time, I had forgotten that she was not like this by choice. She had no fault in her condition. But it was as if a veil had fallen on my mind and I could not understand why I was being so indifferent to her. 2 months later, Ria got married. She was very happy in her in-laws' house. Everyone took great care of her and I was secretly happy to see that her life was happy. Now, I had only one dream left, that somehow Rita should also get married. So that I could be free from her responsibility. But the problem was that her marriageable age was being passed and no proposal was coming. Every time when the proposal did not work out, I would vent all my anger on Rita. Due to my indifference, Rita had now become very distant from me. Now she would mostly go to sister-in-law. After Ria left, sister-in-law had become lonely and she was always used to talking to someone. Earlier also she used to spend time with Ria, but now after Ria left she used to call Rita and keep talking to her. Sometimes I wonder how sister-in-law talks to her so much knowing that she cannot answer anything she says. When I ask her, she says, Selena, she can hear me, right? It is enough for me that there is someone in this house other than the walls who can hear me. Otherwise I get fed up of an empty house. One day I went to the neighborhood. The neighbor aunt was not well. So I went there on the pretext of seeing her. When I came back, Rita was not at home. I started calling her but she did not answer my call. Then I went towards sister-in-law house. When I reached outside her room, I heard only the sound of laughter and conversation from inside. I was surprised and peeped inside and saw that sister-in-law and Rita were sitting together and laughing. I saw that sister-in-law was sitting on the bed while a young man of 25 to 26 years was sitting on the sofa in front of me whose face resembled sister-in-law. When he saw me coming, he greeted me. I replied to the greeting but then looked at sister-in-law in surprise. Sister-in-law laughed and said, Selena, this is my brother Mayank. I was looking at sister-in-law and Mayank in surprise because they looked more like mother and son than brother and sister. Sister-in-law was 48 years old and seeing my surprise she said, Selena, don't be surprised, he is really my brother. It was a mistake of our parents in their last days. Saying this, sister-in-law laughed loudly while Mayank also bowed his head shyly. My mood also became light with her words and I also sat near her and started jokingly saying, then you should name him Pra instead of Mayank because this is a sign of your mother and father's love in old age. Sister-in-law laughed loudly again and Mayank also laughed lightly. I looked at Rita, she was also smiling but her face turned pale as soon as she saw me. After a few days, when Ria came home, I told her to look for a match for Rita at her in-laws' place. Maybe something will work out. She agreed and said that her sister-in-law has a brother-in-law who walks with a limp since childhood. And she will try to talk to him. A little hope arose in my heart that maybe seeing his condition, they will accept my dumb daughter. It was a matter of a few days later. Sister-in-law had gone to the market to buy things. When her call came, she said, I am sending Mayank, send Rita with him to the store. I had to bring some important things but forgot. After some time, there was a knock on the door and I saw that sister-in-law had also returned with Mayank. I asked in surprise, Sister-in-law, have you also returned? She said, Selena, my legs have given up. I was not able to stand any longer. Do this, send Rita with Mayank, she will bring everything herself which she needs. I called Rita and she went with Mayank. After about 2 hours both of them returned because sister-in-law had to buy the remaining items. Days were passing but there was no reply from Rhea. Anyway, now good news was about to come to her house too and she herself had become busy with her responsibilities. I thought I should go and meet her myself. Anyway, it had been more than a month and a half. Rita had fever for 2 days. She was a little lethargic. I thought I would cook all myself for the evening so that if I get late in coming, the food is ready. I called Rita, come and check and then let me soak the rice too. I called her 3 times but she did not come out. I started getting worried because she would run away at my single call. I turned down the heat of the stove and went to her room to check. Is her health worse? I had been asking her to go to the doctor since yesterday but she refused every time. Sister-in-law had also asked her to go to the doctor but she refused even then. When I came to the room, I saw that the room was empty. Yes, the bathroom door was open and the sound of water falling was coming from inside. As soon as I moved forward, the sight in front of me made the ground slip from under my feet. Here in the washroom, she was bent over the wash basin and was trembling while vomiting. I immediately put both my hands on my mouth. My eyes were filled with disbelief and worry. As soon as she realized that I had come, Rita quickly turned off the tap and came out wiping her face. Seeing me standing in front of her, she was about to say something when suddenly she fainted and fell in front of me. And at that very moment, all my doubts turned into belief. Someone had played with her dignity. When she regained consciousness, I tried to ask her, Rita, who did all this to you? But she did not tell me anything. She just started crying. Her helplessness hurt me deeply and I was very angry with myself. I started remembering all my decisions. I started remembering all my mistakes. Today, Rita was here in this condition only because of me. I was not able to take care of her. Those moments when sister-in-law had explained to me not to leave her alone, to take her along everywhere, but I had not taken any of her words seriously. Today its results were in front of me and I was feeling ashamed of my mistakes. I was thinking, how can I be so unaware of my own daughter? Now the fear of society had started haunting me. I felt as if people would not let me live peacefully. They would defame my name. Hiding, I took Rita to the hospital, where I came to know that she was 2 months pregnant. Hearing this, it felt as if my whole world was destroyed. Night's sleep, hunger, thirst, everything disappeared. I was unable to understand how to deal with this situation and how to find the culprit of my daughter's death. The burden of fear and defamation became heavy on my chest. When Rhea came to meet me, some ray of hope had emerged. Maybe her sister-in-law's brother-in-law would accept Rita, but Rhea told me that her sister-in-law is seeing him for some smart, perfect girl, and I burst out in anger. I said, see, the one who rejected my daughter will not even get married. Rhea calmed me down and said, Mom, why is she doing this? There will be some good in God's will. You just pray for Didi. After listening to Rhea, I calmed down a bit and told her everything. There was a look of surprise and sadness on Rhea's face. She said, Mom, you should have taken care of sister. My head bowed down in shame on hearing her words. I wish I could turn back time, but it was not in my control. Rhea stayed with me for 2 days. She kept consoling me, and while leaving she said that I should tell everything to sister-in-law also. Maybe she can help me in this matter. I did not go to sister-in-law for 2 days, so she came to our house herself. As soon as she came, she asked Selena, what is the matter, did I do something wrong? You and Rita have not come to my house for the whole week. I felt embarrassed on her question and lied and said, sister-in-law, there is no such thing. She then asked, then what is the reason for my not coming to your house? I said I was just too busy. Sister-in-law said angrily, Selena, don't make excuses. What kind of in-laws are you that you don't get so much free time? Then she said, and where is Rita? First introduce me to her. let me see how she is. While having food, sister-in-law started calling Rita. I stopped her and said, sister-in-law, Rita is not well. Sister-in-law got worried and asked, since when? I said, since last week. Sister-in-law said angrily, Selena, you are very careless in Rita's matter. Pick her up, I will take her to the hospital. On my saying this, sister-in-law turned my face towards her. Selena, what is the matter? You look a little worried to me, tell me something. And then the pain and burden that I had been holding in my heart for so long started coming out with tears. I hugged sister-in-law and started crying bitterly. Sister-in-law asked me, Selena, what is the matter, why are you crying like this? Is Rita okay? Concern was clearly visible in sister-in-law's questions, but I just kept crying. After a while, controlling myself, I brought her to the room where Rita was lying on the bed, looking at the ceiling with lost eyes. I made sister-in-law sit on the sofa and slowly told her everything. As soon as she heard me, sister-in-law looked at me with surprise as if she could not believe it, but when I shook my head, lines of worry appeared on her face too. She said, I always used to tell you not to leave the child alone. Keep her with you. All this is the result of your carelessness, due to which your daughter's life got ruined. Then after a pause, sister-in-law said that I had come here for some other work, but while saying this, sister-in-law became quiet. I asked her, what is the matter? Why did you come? But she did not say anything further and started looking at Rita. After a while she said, bring me water, I am thirsty. I went out and brought water, and when I came back I saw that Rita was sitting up and sister-in-law was sitting beside her and talking to her. After drinking water, sister-in-law returned half the glass to me. She said, I have remembered an important work. I will come back in the evening and then we will find a solution to this issue. I wanted to stop her but she went away. I waited for her till evening but she came the next day morning. At that time Rita and I had finished our breakfast. I was planning to wash the dishes. I thought I would keep talking to sister-in-law together, but sister-in-law called me to her and said, Selena, come and sit here beside me, I have to talk to you about something important. Seeing her seriousness I got a little scared because this used to happen only when there was some big matter. When I sat beside her she said, Selena, listen to whatever I am going to tell you very carefully. Rita is not at fault in this situation. It is our mistake, because of our carelessness we had to see this day, but understand well what I am going to tell you. I started thinking why sister-in-law was encouraging me again and again, and then I was stunned to hear what she told me. Sister-in-law said that Rita's child is not illegitimate, nor has anyone done anything wrong to her. I looked at sister-in-law in surprise. I said, how can you say this? She is going to become a mother without marriage, so this child is illegitimate. Sister-in-law took a deep breath and said, Selena, forgive me. I did not know what step I would take here. If I had even the slightest idea I would have stopped him. I was surprised. What was sister-in-law saying? I asked her, Sister-in-law, what are you saying? Sister-in-law said softly, Selena, I am telling the truth. Mayank had started liking Rita. When he saw Rita for the first time, he liked her. When he expressed his feelings to Rita, Rita got nervous. She was very afraid of you. She was afraid that if you came to know about this, how would you react to her? She had told Mayank that you use a lot of power over her. Sometimes you even beat her. Mayank had sent me here to ask about Rita's relationship, but I did not know that such a big thing had happened. When you told me about the incident with Rita, Mayank's name came to my mind. I sent you out on some pretext and then asked Rita about Mayank, then she told me everything. After going home, I called Mayank and asked him to tell me everything truthfully, and he confessed that he and Rita have got married in a church. This child is not illegitimate. Mayank told me that he truly loves her and wants to adopt her in his life. Sister-in-law said, now the decision is in your hands, you can decide whatever you want. Saying this, she left. I remained sitting at my place for a long time. Bobby was right, it was my fault. Due to lack of my love and attention, Rita yearned for love all her life, and when Mayank accepted her, she became his. I had decided what to do next. But before coming to any conclusion, I wanted to know Rita's wish. I lovingly called her near me and asked, "What is your wish? Do you want to live with Mayank or not?" Rita immediately decided in favor of Mayank. She was very scared while taking Mayank's name. There was fear in her eyes and I had created this fear. I pulled her close to me and hugged her and said, "My child, forgive me, I have made many mistakes. I always misunderstood you, kept blaming you. I had forgotten. All this is in God's hands. I am sorry for all the crimes I have committed." Saying this, I separated from her and folded my hands in front of her. Rita held my hands and started wiping my tears. I went to her and kissed her forehead. I told Bobby about my decision. I wanted everything to be simple, but Mayank and sister-in-law said that everything should be grand so that people who rejected a diamond like Rita would regret seeing it. Then they got married with full rituals. Rita looked very beautiful as a bride. Her innocence had become even more radiant. Mayank took her home as a bride, and the next day when I went to meet Rita, there was a glow of true happiness on her face. Mayank had adopted her with all his heart, and now my heart was also at peace. Both my daughters were in their respective homes. Today 4 years have passed. Mayank gave so much love to Rita that she blossomed even more than before. Mayank also got her treated, in which she also underwent an operation. Now she can speak some things, if not everything. She speaks Mayank's name very clearly. And what more does Mayank want? When he heard his name from Rita's mouth for the first time, Mayank was overjoyed and embraced her in his arms. Seeing this, tears came to my eyes. Friends, how did you like our story today? Do tell me if you liked it. Please like it. To listen to a new story every day, you can also subscribe to our channel. Friends, with the next new story.